So are there any modifications to the agenda? Are we going to talk about food waste somewhere in here? Do you have any report out?
I can.
And then I wanted to mention local law 12 with Ulster County. And the other ones are announcements. So local law 12 can be an announcement. So does anyone else have anything for the agenda?
Yes, I have a question about some trees that were taken down on my street. This is a good place to ask about it.
Well, you can bring it up. Do you want to do it under the tree commission or some of those?
Tree commission is fine.
I may not remember specifics, but I'll do that in minutes.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
So Kevin,
Yeah.
really good notes. On page, are we good?
Yeah,
Oh, anyone else on modifications of the agenda? I don't have anything else, but,
I'm good.
it says forum procedures were to discuss together CACD. So I think you just need to say together with. That was under VB, new business.
Okay. Oh, okay, you got the change in there, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I sent it to you. And then you misspelled Ukra once.
Oh, I do that sometimes.
Yeah, it's common.
Yeah.
I would also just advocate to actually write out what the quorum decision was.
Yeah, I was
Because I
thinking that.
still am hearing that there's discrepancy in what people think.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it.
Do you want to do that tonight and just make it more official?
Do you have it in writing?
Yeah, I mean, I can get the email from you. so, yeah.
I think it's important to put in writing what we were told.
Yeah,
There's, like I said, there's still discrepancy on to what other people think.
okay.
So we should at least have in our notes what we're following based on where we got the information from.
Okay, and then I'm gonna, Anita's reporting on the tree commission, so you can take my email for that. That's okay with Anita.
See,
Well,
it's got to do this.
I got to meet in the.
in here?
Yeah. Yeah, in the minutes.
In the minutes, so.
Yeah. And then let's also just say in today's meeting that from the May meeting, we scheduled a meeting on July 11th, and that has been rescheduled to tonight, July 24th. So the meeting on the 25th.
I just had three things under new business, where it says no new business, that should be crossed out. There's a reference to the Earth Fair being scheduled for May 13th, that should be crossed out, and there's a sentence that starts the Union Church, and I don't know what the rest of that is.
That's a historic thing. That's what Punkaki is going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, also,
Things like that.
I wanted to say, registration is open for the Hudson River Environmental Society. That was the first week of May. So that must have been,
A carryover.
yeah, so both of those should come.
Where is that one?
It's under the same thing with it, there. VI, communications announcements and events.
Right.
Also, I just had a question because they just released the final GEIS for the fungus space code.
Mhm.
So in the minutes, it says Kevin reported that GEIS was released yesterday. So what happened this week?
This week
Yes,
or last week?
whatever. I guess last week, because,
You mean at the last common council meeting?
no, I got an announcement from our talk company
Sure.
and received, oh, it was adopted. Okay, so that's different.
The
So they
GEIS.
released the final GEIS, but it was adopted by,
The FGEIS.
the FGEIS was adopted on July 11th. Okay, so we can talk about that.
Right.
All right. So do I have motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
Move to accept the minutes.
And, second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I think it says in our rules and regulations that actually, if there's a first and a second, we don't have to do anything else. But it's still, that's what I'm interested in. When a motion is made and seconded, shall at the requested be restated by the secretary. I didn't do that. Before it is taken there, never mind. All right, so I'm supposed to.
Yeah, that looks like it's
state
straight
it.
out of Robert's rules, but
Yeah,
paraphrased.
Okay. So we voted, right? So we're all set?
Yeah.
Okay. Old business. Wood smoke. I wanted to say that I gave it, I printed out the latest from the website, and you can see where July, okay, so I'm going to just pass it around because I just printed it out, but the really big peak is that first week of June, I think.
July.
June.
June?
It was the first week, what was
Oh,
like
okay.
around,
Yeah.
6 or 7 of June, like around in there. That
Yes.
was the first time it really
Yeah.
bad. But then there might be a peak on July 4th.
Hard to
I
say.
couldn't get, I didn't look to get a really fine
That's interesting.
drawing of that.
That could be fireworks.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see if it was fireworks.
That was the annual peak, wasn't it?
The regular peak is July 4th. And you can see that today's July 24th, so right basically at the beginning of July, there's a
Yeah.
peak.
So there was not a peak on this. This is
There
July.
wasn't, okay, thanks for, that's just July,
Yeah, just
Okay.
from July 1st to July 24th.
yeah.
So this peak is the 3rd, so all of that peak is before
Unless it was a
4th
weekend.
of July. So all the other years, so the peak on the 4th and 5th of July, this year is not showing a peak.
Oh, and you're saying maybe there was more, Helen was just saying maybe there was more during the weekend before the 4th? I don't know, huh,
Right, oh, that's true.
Right,
yeah,
that would make sense. There were a lot more fireworks going off in my neighborhood over
But-
the weekend. that's for sure.
I remember that the air quality was still bad because I remember thinking, oh, great, now everyone's
Now we've got
got
this too,
fireworks.
yes.
Well, this is what June 1st to today looks like.
Right.
Yeah, so you can see that really big.
This is July 4th weekend.
Right.
Technically before the 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the really big one is July, early
It's
June.
Yeah.
Yep, so we can just keep watching that. Anything on Gaspard Leap Road?
No,
Okay.
sorry.
I do.
All right.
or not. One of the functions that the city offers in our services is something called Q Alert. And people can submit a Q Alert where they go into the Q Alert app and they can pick one of many things that they want to report about. They can report about anything. But if it's about like sewers, it goes to DPW. They can report about a pothole. They can report about the road not being plowed, whatever it is. The Q Alert came in on 7/21/2023 that was forwarded to me, stating the comment, what are the current laws around leaf blowers in the city? Are there restricted operation hours? Are gas powered illegal? Not only is the sound constant through the summer, but they're being used excessively. One man was blowing the same corner for 10 minutes. A woman was using one to dust her front porch. Please share current laws and anything in the works. This is not new and has been an initiative in many cities.
That's cool.
This went to DPW, but it was forwarded to me.
Cool.
And the action that needs to be taken with Q Alert is either the person who gets it can address it, they can put it on hold, they can close it out. Or they can forward it to someone else if they don't think they're the ones that were sure gotten it. They don't think
Do you
they're the ones
have
that
the
should have
name?
I do have the name.
Okay. You don't have to tell us.
I have the name and the address.
Okay, so do you want them to join our committee?
Good, I like your thinking.
Well, first of all, I'll just say again, it was sent. So the way Q Alert is set up is that there's automatic triggers that send certain Q alerts to certain people, certain departments. This type was put in as miscellaneous. They didn't put in, like you put in a type, and type would be like sewer, and automatically goes to DPW. It's put in as miscellaneous. So the DPW person forwarded to me because they know that CAC is interested in this. They also said that before they closed, they said, should I close it out? I said, no, don't close it out. They're not even done yet. But I said, you should probably also forward it to the fire department and police department. Either way, I'm bringing it forward to all of you. I don't know if it means anything, if you want to do anything about it, if you want to communicate with this person.
I just want to add a bit of information. I attended the public safety meeting. I don't remember when, so anyway, but I actually gave a slideshow of the air quality report. And I showed them, the air quality from the early part of June. So I had gotten, I downloaded the information, and they thought it was interesting, and they asked if we were doing anything. And I said that we were part of the anti-idling law. And it kind of threw me off. I don't work fast on my feet, so I didn't mention the gas-powered leaf blower, and I didn't mention anything about wood smoke at all. But they're meeting on Wednesday, so I could bring that up at the meeting on Wednesday, if you think. And then also, I think we would like to respond and say, yeah, we're thinking about doing this. Well, would you like to help us?
Sure. I just think the problem, from what I know, the response to that would be, no gas-powered leaf blowers are not illegal. Yes, there are hours of operation, which I can fill in.
Oh, that would be
And
great.
the only enforcement that's on offer at this point is a direct complaint to the police.
And it's about noise.
Yeah, under the noise ordinance.
It's not on pollution.
I use a leaf blower to clear my porch.
I do too.
Or he, whoever. But I'm not sure how. I think it's important to respond to these things.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send you the content of the Q Alert,
Okay.
and you can send me your response, and I will send it to this.
Okay, so
DPW to post on the
do
Q.
you want to just do it, or do you want me to work with you?
I should be able to do it,
Yeah, okay.
unless there's something more that you want to add than what I just said. And I'll say that we're working on a
Mhm.
evil plan.
And then we, fully investigated, started investigating before they contacted us. Great.
Was it an address in Uptown?
Yes. Not your tree.
Thank you. I know, it's terrible. I know it's not all about me. Our street is pretty noisy, as we said, and especially when, the sun's just getting mellow, you're sitting there for a gin and tonic on the porch and something.
I know, it's, but, people work and they gotta do it after work.
This is on like Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that?
No, I'm sorry, I've been researching some manufacturers that are on here, and I also want to approach Herzog's to see if they'd be interested in doing a promotion. Beef Tinty suggested that the carrot was better than the stick.
Mhm.
In your research, I did hear, and I don't have the exact details, but I think that somebody told me that by a date soon, I don't know if it was 25 or something, all of Home Depot's equipment that they sell will only be electric, which means that Lowe's would be very soon to follow.
Yeah.
Right.
So you might want to look into that because they declared it like a month ago.
Oh, okay, thank you. I didn't see that.
And I don't know what it applies to, I would assume it would apply to leaf blowers. But I don't know for sure, because like hand drills and stuff, they already have electric stuff. But they made some kind of proclamation.
Which means that, like, if they're selling Husqvarna or Makita or something, then that pushes the manufacturers.
Yeah.
If it's not just like Home Depot brand, which I mean, they have.
Right, no, if you're saying all equipment.
Oh, here it is.
It's cool.
Home Depot sets a goal for battery powered products to drive over 85% of outdoor lawn equipment sales by 2028. So by the end of fiscal year 2028, so that's 5 years, more than 85% of US and Canada's sales in outdoor power equipment, specifically push lawnmowers and handheld outdoor equipment like leaf blowers and trimmers, will run on rechargeable battery technology instead of gas. This will transition over 2 million metric tons of greenhouse gases annually. So,
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you send that to me?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, Kingston Ford citywide rezoning, so I guess what my announcement was, which I sent to you, was that common council adopted the final generic environmental impact statement on July 11th, and you can read it on Engage Kingston. It's 90 pages, and and I went to the public hearing. Right, Kevin?
Yeah.
On May 31st. We're not gonna put anything about that. So, so that's good, and then anything more from this code?
Well, the only thing would be whether, we should follow what they're doing, and I think, the 6-month look back period, we may want to jump on that.
So
Make
when-
sure that they follow through. That will be the next,
What does that mean?
when they pass when the public, no, it was laws and rules. When laws and rules passed the resolution, which went to the full council, or resolutions, they had several resolutions on the front of these. There was this discussion about whether there should be public hearings on major site plans, which they declined to act on. But they did decide that they needed to review the entire form-based code in 6 months and see which aspects are working out and which aspects
Okay,
need to be revisited. And that,
it's good.
that might be something that was discussed. So, it was, I think, Andrea had discussed that at a meeting that I was at attended.
So that would be 6 months from July 11th.
Could be 6 months from when they pass the final code, which
Okay.
should be, I mean, yeah, it could be
Oh,
February.
yeah, it
I'm not sure if it'll be January. It'll be the new council, it won't be this council.
Okay.
And that was part of the thinking, when we were talking to Michelle and entering it, that, we'll have new board members on the council and all that.
So, yeah,
Different thinking.
so just to restate what you said.
The 6 month look back
4.1
period. we should-
version of the form-based code was
Right.
passed on June 22nd. And they're supposed to vote on August 1st, so it has not, so we were talking about the final generic environmental impact statement, which is
But
different.
that's done, the final.
Right.
Right,
Okay,
right. So-
that's July 11th, I'm just trying to clarify.
Right, the form-based code is the
Okay.
next governance.
And that is supposed to be August 1st. And
Right,
then-
I believe there's a statutory waiting period between passing the FGEIS and then passing the zoning. That's how it was explained to me, but I couldn't find that provision in the secret rules, but it might be there and I just missed it.
And the only time they reviewed it was during the special meeting on May 31st, right? So what's, so it was published June 14th. The Kingston 4 draft 4.1 was published June 14th. If you want to know, and they're going to vote on it August 1st. And they're not going to make any changes, is that right?
I don't think so, I think they're
Yeah,
done.
so if you want to understand what's in it, 4.1 is what to look at. 4.15.
I think the meeting,
So now you're talking about the forms.
Yeah, the actual zoning code. Yeah, the actual zoning.
I think the laws and rules meeting, there were 2 laws and rules meetings in June. And the second one was the one that you attended, Emily.
Right.
And I was on Zoom for that. The day before they did the bike share legislation, or didn't do the bike share legislation.
Yeah, it says all changes from the 4.0 to 4.1 were based on a review by laws and rules during a special meeting on May 31st. And you can see the changes there in orange. Oh,
But they
there's
didn't
orange and
again.
red changes.
They met again in June. But I referenced May 31st in the other minutes because we were at May 25th or thereabouts.
Right, yeah, I mean,
And then, I know I don't think it may have come up on May 31st, but it came up definitively for a vote on or about June 22nd.
right, that the laws and rules passed it on June 22nd.
Right, and they discussed it, I wasn't there on May 31st, I don't think I was there, maybe.
Anyway,
No, I don't remember. I have to look at the calendar and check my calendar.
so I mean, if anyone's here and you want to go to common council as an individual, or if you want to contact your legislator, your other people to ask them to vote for it, I haven't heard anything like it wasn't going to pass. But I am not privy to much information these days. The big issue was, as Kevin said, was about how much review there had to be on some of the larger parcels. And I think people were somewhat upset about obsolete parking, but I'm happy with that.
They passed separate resolutions on that, and they pretty much stuck to, I think an earlier version, they were ready to go on.
And they passed a separate resolution on parking.
Yeah, there was a resolution on parking, a resolution on short-term rentals, I think the other one was ADUs, was it? I have it here. It was ADUs. There were several, they broke it out into different resolutions, and then the public hearing thing the ball got dropped on that one. And then when it got picked up again at June 22nd, and they discussed it, and there was one council member who was adamant that the answer is no on public hearings. Did you not hear me the first time? I said no. So, okay, no on public hearings.
It's kind of hard to track this because you have to look at the red writing. And you can't like search in red font. Okay, anything more on that? So then they would vote on it and then it would be the law, right?
Yes, that would, they'll repeal the present section 405 and then they'll institute a new 405 code.
Okay. Okay, anything on the city plan reviews?
The pedestrian bicycle and engaged Kingston. I don't think I got to go through it yet. Double check. Pretty sure it is. There it goes. Okay. Here it is. Okay,
It says it's drafted. I couldn't find it. Oh, there it is.
yeah, it's really far down.
Okay,
It's opening really slow.
okay.
I
So,
have this on another drive, I don't have it here. This one.
so the pedestrian bike master plan is dated June 6th.
Yeah, but I think it came out like weeks or maybe a month later, like where it was posted. I think it was posted June 6th. I think it got sent to Emily Flynn and then she had to review it and then.
Are you here for the land bank?
Yes,
They went to 2.
thank you.
Yep.
Oh, we can continue.
So that's on engaged Kingston, but it looks final. And I mean, we'd already commented on the draft. That's it.
So are we supposed to, do we want to comment on it? Is there a comment thing or is it done?
Not really, I think it's done.
Well, that's cool.
There was a public meeting months ago. Meeting in March. And I think they had to, Department of Legis had to coordinate certain aspects of it with Dover Call. At least we kept telling them to do that. So I'm gonna think they probably did do some of that. But again, I haven't read through the whole thing. Just
And, okay, and it doesn't have anything to do with the rental bikes, short-term rentals of bikes.
no, I don't think they covered that at all. There was talk of it at some of the project meetings, but
All right, so I guess it's done and we can read about it on our own. Unless we want someone to come and talk to us about it.
Want you to remove it from the agenda? Shall I remove
Yeah,
it
it
from the agenda?
seemed like it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what's the Flatbush and Foxhall. But I,
Yeah, I already removed that from the
yeah,
agenda.
I thought that was pretty much done too.
Are they?
I don't know if it's done, it's
Start
just
the
not
work.
There's just nothing to
It's
discuss
just
at this
on
point,
hold,
yeah.
yeah, it's been on hold for like a year
If
now.
it gets off hold, I'll put it back on the agenda, but it's just taking up space on the agenda, frankly.
Yeah.
And I
Okay, Kingston Point Park improvements.
Yes, so remember what had happened as of the last time, I think we had gone out to bid. The bids came in and we were able to award, the bid to Bernier and Larios for phase two. Bernier and Larios also did phase one. So, they'll be the same engineer. We are in contract negotiations with them. And there's a little bit, are you looking for the land bank meeting? Yes. They're in, conference room two. Thank you. Yep. There's a little bit of, holdup on the contract because, in the meantime, the city was awarded a $22 million raise grant, which is a resiliency grant for the waterfront. And it includes, among many other things, raising, physically elevating Delaware Avenue, which actually will change the Kingston Point Park Improvements project. So, I have to slightly modify the contract with Bernier and Larios before I send it over to them to sign. So there's just some alignment of those projects that needs to happen before I can move forward with the design of Kingston Point Park, but I still expect the timeline to be the same. And move forward, at a faster pace than Raise. Raise is probably gonna take a little while because it's a big project. So anyway, I would expect that there's gonna be design meetings this fall. Anyone who wants to be involved with design, please let me know. And,
For
the land bank meeting?
no, he's just shutting the door.
Oh,
Oh, no, I thought this was number two, I'm sorry.
oh no, the other one's too.
Sorry, it's one. So the design of the Kingston Point Improvement Project?
Will happen this fall.
Okay,
And then they can, and then it will go out to bid this winter and construction will be next year.
and so this is the wetland
And the parking lot,
and the parking lot.
but not the elevation of the road that will be.
So this again is that the parking lot is flooding by the BMX track and what they can do with that and try to get more parking.
Yes,
All right, I would like to be notified about the design
okay.
meeting. Anyone else?
Yeah. Sure, my calendar's kind of crazy, but yeah, would this be on Zoom or in person or totally in person?
Probably.
All right, we can notify.
Probably on site.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, okay, well, oh my.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that is Kingston Point. And I don't know if you wanted me to report about organics at this point?
Sure.
Okay. So, Kingston Organics, the actual collection launched on the 10th of July. We are now 2 weeks into it. At this time, I have more than 600 people, about 625 registered. My intent was, my goal was 250.
Whoa, all right.
So it's 650 people, not 650 families, 650 people, but just as a reference, like 500 people is 3% of our community. So we're at like 3 or 4% of our community, which is pretty substantial, although it feels really small.
Well, that's just
It's
individuals too, so
Individuals. Yeah.
but it could be families.
There's about 200 families.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's like 2 to 3, it's like it's between 2 and 4%. I gotta recalculate the numbers. I've been on vacation for the last week, so I actually haven't done all the numbers in the last week.
Okay, can I
This is
just
a rep-
stop for a minute? Brianna forgot about the meeting. Can she come in by Zoom?
She can come in, yep. She,
How would she get it?
I will forward her the link. You will count as one. Oh, no, I don't have her email.
Can she?
I mean, I can't have her location, I don't know,
That's
location.
okay.
Maybe she can tell us.
Oh, it was that Julie is spending.
We've got a quorum anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's good for her.
Yeah. So, what was it? Oh, so just as a reference, because that feels really low, but I called, I talked to, there's a lot of other communities that have been reaching out and like, this is amazing. And I talked to folks from Ithaca, and Tompkins County does the same thing. And they have 3,300 people registered. And I thought to myself, wow, it's amazing, but it's offered to the whole county. 3,300 people in Tompkins County is 3% of their population. So we're on track with that. Either way, we did our first collection on the 14th. I went site to site. There are 35 individual cans with 18 different actual locations, including municipal buildings and the remote sites. Only one can was contaminated out of all 35, and that was the DPW can. It is
Contaminated with what?
contaminants.
Like, like
Things that they should not have.
Oh, okay.
Which is 100% intentional. I will state for the record, I intend to think that they are sabotaging my plan, but whatever. Either way, we had, at that first week, we had 720 pounds of food, which we diverted. And this past week, so that ended up being 0.36 tons. This week we did 0.43 tons. So we increased a little bit. But Umbra said everything looked fantastic. Again, we're saving $90 a ton, so we paid $7 to dispose of the first load as opposed to $35, just as a reference. More people are registering all the time, and this Friday I am applying, or before, I am submitting a grant for the next future phases, and that's one of the CFA applications we'll go over.
Do you have to let her in?
Probably.
Oh, just.
So do you have like the capacity to take as many people as can sign up? Okay.
We can take.
Hi. No, you haven't.
Right now with this phase, the limitation would be the volume that could fit in the truck, which is 6 tons.
Okay.
So I could take a ton, a lot more. There haven't been any requests to add additional sites. There are certain sites, because they're pretty well distributed, there are certain sites that have far more people using them than others. For instance, about half of everyone is still going to 4 sites versus some other sites that only have a few people. And then there's some municipal buildings where we're getting an unbelievable amount, and other municipal buildings where we're getting nothing, and that was to be expected as well. Again, we're only week 2, so long story short, yes, the capacity right now could grow incredibly.
I have to get my packet, so.
I wish I would have known I was brought.
Yeah, I have to do that
Oh
too.
my gosh, I would have brought it. So that's the other thing. So I still have 100 people that haven't picked up their packets yet, which means that even with the volume of that we're collecting, there's still at least 100 packets, which could represent 300 people that aren't doing it. So I will, and don't know why people don't pick up their packets.
Well,
You got at least 2 people here that.
for me, I was like, so much time went by when I was like, I think I'm supposed to get an email with the code, and then I actually read your email and saw that I have to get a packet. And then it's just been a week of every day me needing to do it and not doing it.
Where do they have to go to your office?
They do. It's the one thing I'm asking people to do, which is come, I'm not requiring you to do a training, I'm not requiring you to do anything else, I'm not gonna forward people the information.
Yeah.
It's all printed and it's there, and I don't want people to go and share it, and so. Either way, it's been great, and I'll talk more about the future phases when we get into the letters of support.
And just for the record, I feel like I'm doing fine at home, so.
Oh, and I will absolutely state, anyone, number one, people should be doing it in the backyard. like, if you're already doing it in your backyard, I'm not encouraging you to do this. I'm encouraging you to do it in your backyard. If you can't do it in your backyard, sign up for this.
Got a functional backyard.
Yeah, so the closest, I don't know, I've seen a couple of them. Is there one at Tierra Gallo?
There's one at the Roundup Center
Oh, at the Roundup Center.
and at the Roundup Community Garden and
Oh, right,
Hasbrook and Beach
right, I've
and
seen,
Rec
I've seen
Center
those.
here. Lots of places.
Great, well, thanks for that report. That's good.
Do we want anything in infrastructure and resiliency about the raised ground? Other than what you've already covered?
I don't think so.
Okay, right, I did it for the climate meeting. So I have the text if we need it, but I can copy and paste it.
Okay, so anything on the pace? Let me just see. Anything on pace, University Resilience Assessment?
The comments are due this week. I'm gonna send out a reminder. We'll just be reviewing doing some homework. And then we'll have a meeting. We have a meeting this week? I don't think we do. I think it's next week, so we'll do a report after that.
Anything from the hats? New York.
Yeah, they were supposed to, the Army Corps was gonna come out with, the next. They were coordinating they were reviewing the comments basically, and they were gonna issue a confirmation of that with, and a public release as to where they're going next.
I'm
So
sorry,
we're
what did you
waiting on
say
that.
that they're doing the comments?
They're reviewing the
Oh,
comments. They're
reviewing.
reviewing the comments still, and there's a delay until we're supposed to be at the end of July, now we're talking the end of August. And Tracy Brown has been doing interview rounds on this, and she's campaigning hard against any storm surge barriers. And I think we've gone through this previously, where there's a few people in the scientific community that support storm surge barriers to some extent at least, and at least one that strongly supports it. So we'll see where the Army Corps goes here. And the next step for us would be, once we get a little bit of clarity as to where they're going and where they're going on funding, would be to go for the locally driven initiatives that we'd asked for.
Right. Were you able to talk to?
I held up Pat Ryan because Tracy Brown suggested talking to Governor Hochul's office.
Hmm.
She said the Army Corps listens to Governor Murphy and Governor Hochul. I'm like, well, gee, that's interesting. Okay. You don't listen to the congressional.
And the thing about that is that I think I got the impression that the group that looks at resiliency along the Hudson River,
Hudson Sun? Oh, Flood Resilience Network?
yeah, that they don't want to be political like this, was that what? they
Well,
were-
that's what, yeah,
Jessica.
Jess Corman, her group, Seaground, funded a professor from Stony Brook who's the huge advocate of storm surge barriers. But they're also funding people on the other side too.
Yeah, but-
They make grants, so.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
not the FRN, that's, but my point is that if someone is gonna contact Hopel, is it better to have a bunch of communities, even if they're just a loose group of communities that happen to belong to the FRN, to contact them? Or is no one interested?
If FRM would do it, otherwise we would do the same thing we did the last time around, reach out to Paramount, reach out to whomever that's got a strong interest in this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you don't have to
we're
go
not going
everything.
around, yeah,
Okay,
Right.
good.
right.
All right, sounds good. Brianna, do you want to say hello so we know you're there?
Hello.
Nice to see you. Okay. All right, great, that's good. Good information there. Can you find where I am? Okay, pollinator gardens. I think we're just trying to figure out how we can get more involved with pollinator gardens. Is that right?
Maybe it was just left over from the last one because we ran that Earth Day.
I think the last one I had a note that said, put this on the next agenda.
Right.
Okay.
So I guess one of the things about the CAC is we're much more like policy and not action. I don't know how to say that. Like we usually don't have projects like educational stuff.
Right.
But if no one is doing this, we could do it, right? We don't have any money or anything like that. Or we could work with like the land trust or something if they were doing this, but it doesn't seem like, I don't know, I would just like, I guess, is anyone doing this? Do we need more education for people, kind of like what Woodstock's doing?
What's the land, is the land trust doing the leadership?
Yeah, we have a really nice large pollinator garden at JFK Elementary School. At the end of Grove Street that was funded with a $100,000 DEC grant. And it's just wrapping up. They're gonna do like one more layer of work with kids this summer on it. And then the grant is getting closed out. We don't have like a pollinator like program per se. We're just supportive of projects. So we're a fiscal sponsor for that one.
They didn't spend 100,000 K on one pollinator garden.
They did. Yes.
Jeez.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
it wasn't just on the pollinator garden. It was running programming with the kids on it, you know, staff time for the design and construction, all the materials and plans. Kingston Land Trust received the admin fee for being fiscal sponsor. So there's a whole budget, but besides that, like we have talked about Woodstock has and New Paltz and like the Wallkill Valley corridor have, they're part of the New York, New Jersey pollinator pathway, but like officially, and they have a map where they mark different pollinator sites, and that's something KLT has always talked about doing, but we just, with our other programming, haven't really had the capacity, but it's something that we could do as a CAC, and it's like free, and I think they will send you pollinator pathway signage to put in like, you know, little garden plots, and you can get homeowners to sign up and like post a picture of their garden and their yard, and say what species are there. And like, it's kind of, if you get really into it, you can have a pretty robust pathway. So that's something we could do. And the land trust would support too.
There certainly seemed to be quite a lot of interest when we ran the table.
Yeah, there was,
Yeah.
because I was handing out copies of something at the Nature Center and
Yeah,
on Levi has this week. But why don't you send me some of the information?
Sure.
And I will see what I can put together.
right?
Should I copy everyone else if you're curious?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get the emails for the Woodstock pollinator pathways. And just from years ago, going to one of your presentations, you're just trying to get people to do really small plots in their yard with the idea that they can hop from one, the insects can hop from one yard to the next. Yeah, and then,
We have kind of a concept, an older concept at the land trust with the Kingston Green Line of having a section of it that's called the B line.
Oh, I love it.
So that along the way, we have pollinator friendly sites and
I was gonna ask about that, like that new stretch that's just opened along parallel to Broadway. Of the Greenway.
the Midtown linear park.
Is that, I mean, surely that'd be a great place to encourage pollinators to like this.
Yeah, and there's some plantings there, but there was supposedly a wildflower meadow planted along it, and I'm not sure if, or like a native plant meadow along
Right,
from Cornell Street up.
between Cornell and, okay.
I have to check with Ulster County Planning.
Yeah, because that's the thing, it's all Ulster, it's partly owned by Kingston or what, because, and I could see where, anyway, because there is, I'm trying to think, at the crossing that's by Neon Lights, whatever that place is called, they have really nice,
Garden there.
they have sunflowers, morning glories, things like that. And so they're really taken off now. And then, but then there's a huge amount of knotweed.
Yes, there is.
And then the flat areas near Cornell and O'Neill are just regular grass with some clover. So that could be, but that, so that would be more, you know, county or municipal government. But this idea is to, you know, get people to do something in their own yard and be recognized for it. Because people are doing a lot, but if they're already doing it, then they can have signs and then it can, you know, other people could ask them.
And it feeds well into, if we started it, other stuff we talked about, like promoting no mow May
Yeah.
and, you know, leave your leaves on the lawn, things like that.
Mhm.
We have to use a lot.
Did it?
So, not doing that again. I think there was just a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard if you have a small.
Did you mulch them at all? I don't know
Obviously
if
not
that
enough,
helps,
yeah.
But also then the city has, you know, everything's really coming into bloom on the, forgive me, the stormwater pits along Broadway.
Yeah.
So there's really nice.
Oh, great, yeah.
And the roundabout has
Yeah.
really nice plantings.
Yeah, and so those are all, can be recognized as pollen pathways, right? And the, so I think, yeah, so I'll send you the email from what I have in the stuff,
I'll share it.
and you can send it, so then we can keep moving on this.
I think like maybe 3 years ago, I created like a profile for the land trust in Kingston on that website. I don't know how far I got, but I can look and see if there's actually an account.
I wanted to say as an aside, I was listening to the show, which happened to be in Ontario, but on the radio, and they interviewed this lawnmower repair guy, and he said the problem with no mow May was that no one takes their mower to him. Like they used to come in April, and they were waiting, and then he was getting jammed up. It's like waiting for December to take your snow blower. It's the same thing with the mowers, and because it's so long, that they're jamming up their machines. And they just, you know, they have to clean everything out and stuff. And so I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, sure.
But,
Unintended consequences.
yes. So the only other, we were just wondering, is anyone adopting these tree pits so that the garbage, it's getting weeded in the garbage?
Out on Broadway?
Yeah. So it's just kind of whatever it is, or the city's doing it.
Buildings and grounds and DPW is doing it.
Yeah, that's great, because that's so much more work.
Yeah, and they're doing 587 interchange. all the bioswales and all the
Well, that's great. Good. Okay, CAC rules and procedures. So I took a crack at it, so I wanted to know what you were thinking, because the easiest way to kind of take a crack at this is to put it in the Google Doc, unless we want to just go over it. So how much time do you want to spend on it? Do you want to put anything up on the screen? Or do you want to just keep pushing it, or can we just put it on Google Docs and people could comment on it that way? My finding was, one, that there's no reason to say when we're going to meet. And I would just like to say that we're going to decide once a year when we're going to meet and then make a decision on that. So that's like the third Tuesday or third Thursday at 6 or 6:30, but just kind of have a way like, okay, we'll meet, I'm thinking in January, and you would set it for January to January, and then you would start over from every year and just set it. And then I felt like there was need for, I don't understand the reasoning for, and also we don't have to specify conference room 1. It's great to have, I mean, unless that's giving us dibs on it before.
No, it's definitely not.
And then clarifying the quorum, which I can also state that in a minute. And then the thing about the agenda is that now we have rules that are not coming from us, they're coming from like open meetings or whatever. So I was wondering if we can just say something like, we're going to follow the rules that are requiring, that the city is requiring. Instead of being, so right now, it used to be that you could do it 12 noon 2 days before. So like on Tuesday, we could decide on the agenda. But right now, we're supposed to have it up on the website a week before. So Julie contacts me Tuesday before. And normally none of you contact me, but you're allowed to, right? And then I just give it to Julie, like I don't physically do anything, except for type a few ideas. So I don't know if we should say like that it's due on 1 week preceding the meeting date, or should we just say we're going to follow the rules of the city? And then that would be also for like attendance and public participation. Because, so I'm just going to go through this order. So number 6 is public participation. So if we're on Facebook, can the public participate?
We are on YouTube, people can
Oh,
watch
YouTube.
it, but not participate.
Right, so
I guess they get to make comments, I don't know.
So should we be saying something like they have to attend in person? In order, how are we kind of coming into the remote attendance situation? So that I felt like we needed to address. And so it's interesting here because like it also doesn't say that they just have public, they can participate, period. Whereas I learned from Laws and Rule, you can only participate in the first few minutes and then they don't want to hear anything you say. And so even if, you may have knowledge. So do we want that, or do we want them to just, do we want people coming in and then you just say, well, this is extraneous for the record? I'm okay with that, but then how do you have them participate if they're on something that they can't participate through?
I don't see any reason not to ask people to show up in person if they want to
Yeah,
make a comment.
Or via the virtual meeting, whatever, Zoom.
right, but then we have to give them the Zoom contact, so they have to contact us, right? Because it's not on the website,
Is it
the
not?
city's website is
It's not on the
just how they
city
do the Facebook or whatever.
Oh, there's YouTube.
YouTube. And that could change, so some of this, I feel like we just need to say we're following the rules of the city.
Yeah, I mean,
I
particularly
think about
the
that.
attendance thing. There's like, we either need to say, well, we're gonna be following the rules of the city, or we definitely need to be more explicit, because there's like nothing mentioned here about the remote aspect of being
Right.
in attendance.
Right.
I mean, the safer way to do it is to say we're following the rules of the city,
Yeah.
but that doesn't state it, that takes the assumption whoever's reading this knows the rules of the city also.
Yes.
But otherwise, I mean, because it kind of changed, and so then we have to amend it unless we just put it into, just say we're following the rules. So I sent you all my comments, but I sent them at 5 to 6 or whatever, but I put that in that we should be following the rules. And then the rules for our own remote attendance. Again, that would be just following the rules, but, maybe we need to go over it once a year, whenever we get a new member. And then I didn't see any reason why we could only have people join in January, and that we were only going to do stuff in September, so I just took that out.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also the mayor, I don't think the mayor does me as chair. So is that what was supposed to happen? And the only reason I'm saying that is like, if you've been seeing what's going on in Woodstock, they just basically took the chair off. There's all this stuff going on in the CAC and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so the chair was taken off. That person is still on the board, on the CAC, but is not the chair. And so do we want someone else to take the chair away? It doesn't.
I mean, I don't know if there's rules and procedures for boards, or if each board is given the autonomy to do what they want. I know in Climate Smart, it dictates in the resolution, establishing resolution, how the chair was chosen. In this, our resolution for CAC, it does not dictate how the chair is chosen.
Right.
So this was just what this group of CAC members wanted to do at this time. If this group of CAC
Right.
members wanted to do it a different way, I think.
Yeah, but the mayor needs to know that the mayor is supposed to appoint the chairperson. Right, or not,
Or not.
so,
If this is not changed, the mayor should be told you're supposed to be appointed chair.
right, and is it once a year? How often does that happen? So it's kind of a step that's kind of awkward. Oh, will you appoint a chair this year? So, anyway, so that's all I have. I think you should all look at it and then add your comments in, and we're trying to get this done by September, right? Yeah, and
I mean, I
Are you
was,
going to make it into a Google Doc, or would you like me to?
if you could do it, that would be great. Yeah. And then so you have my one that I commented on. And then I'm gonna would you just remind me who the lawyer is so I can tell you?
Barbara Graves Poller. Unless you spoke with Marissa.
No,
Or Jonathan?
she emailed us. I'm just gonna read you this, okay? And I thought, I'm sorry if I didn't, maybe I didn't copy anyone, so I can just copy it now. But it says, the resolution, all right, so I said, I'm the chair, we'd like an interpretation of the number needed for a quorum. We currently have 6 members. The resolution says it must have a minimum of 5 members and you have a maximum of 9. And she said ideally the resolution would have a fixed odd number. Regardless, I interpret the quorum of the whole body to require 1 more than half of the appointed members. So half of 6 plus 1 is 4. That constitutes a quorum to act. So I'll just send you that, Kevin. Okay, because I guess I didn't forward it to you.
I think I have that somewhere. I think I was on it.
No, I mean, I'm looking at the
The
email,
text sounds
unless I
familiar.
sent it to you guys a different way.
The text sounds familiar, but there is some.
Well, I might have said it. No, I couldn't have. When did I do this? May 10th, yes, I probably said it May 31st, but I didn't give you the wording. So, okay. So we'll put that in the meeting minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just sent it?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and so, by the way, next time I'll pay for you to take the bus. Kevin,
Oh,
because you were coming on Metro North, but I would have paid for Carroll Lakes. So
no. That might have been like logistically
I know, because everyone is probably trying to take.
late in the
Carroll Lakes,
day.
right? Yeah,
and-
because the train is,
Yeah,
it's
could be
closed.
done or
Yeah.
not.
and I'll pick you up at the bus
So if
station.
that doesn't happen again, then I have a feeling it might.
Yeah, get in the state of,
Yeah,
I was looking at the tracks and the level of the Hudson River. and
right,
Didn't look good.
yeah.
Yeah, one of my friends was stranded on a train for 11
On Metro North?
Yeah, and going back into the city last 2 Sundays ago.
Awful.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would have gotten on the swamp.
No, apparently there were a bunch of millennials who like rebelled and left the train and then wandered around for a while, realized they couldn't go anywhere. Came back with their tails between their legs.
That would be.
Did they?
Seems remarkably unadventurous of them. They could just sit it. I mean, like.
Did they send a pizza by drone? I mean, that's terrible.
No, 11 hours, imagine.
Oh, that was
Were they
awful.
near Bear Mountain or between Bear Mountain?
They must have
That's
been
where she got stranded,
really
yeah.
steep.
That was the worst part. That was Manatee. I think it just, the water came this way and the mountain came that way. Gone, washed out.
And it's hard to work with the train on suitable roads, the train roads. Anyway, okay, so where are we? Oh, so we're on CAC rules and procedures. So that action is for Julie to put it on Google, you guys can look at it. Is everyone okay using Google Drive or something? Yeah, or that, yes. And then put it on the August agenda. And when are we going to make a decision about the August meeting?
Oh. Did
I mean, yeah, I know where.
I? Oh.
So, should we just do it now?
Yep.
Okay. I am definitely going to be in Europe, and I am not adverse to meeting, but it would be like almost midnight for me, I think. So
This is,
on August 8th. So there's the options are waiting, canceling August, putting it later, going ahead without me, which is fine. So first of all, who's available on August 8th? Brianna?
I'm checking my schedule right now.
Thank you.
It's already on my schedule.
Yes.
Because it's also very soon from today.
Right.
August 8th, I am free.
Okay, everyone raise, oh, when you know, just raise your hand or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. So the only reason to not have it is if I'm not gonna be here, or can't, but I could even attend. Because otherwise, I won't be back until the week of the 21st, and then it's gonna be the same thing. And then,
Well, the question really becomes, is it relevant to have 1 2 weeks then?
I know,
So it would either be 2 weeks or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks.
mhm. I'm okay with 7 weeks. The problem is my second granddaughter is being born sometime around that time.
Wow.
So I can't guarantee that I'm not gonna be, but yeah, I can always attend, but probably. So I'm fine with waiting till September. What's the date in September?
8th,
Okay.
Is it
12th.
12? Yeah.
Well, yeah, so it's pretty,
Yeah.
it's pretty late, you know, because I hate having this issue every time. So I'm okay with it. Is everyone okay? Is there anything that's happening between now and September 8th that would make it so we do need to meet? We have these letters that are gonna go out, the August 1st thing of the August 1st, or the August 1st is when the common council is gonna vote. And we don't have anything to do with that, we can do it.
So you're saying we're not going to meet on August 8th?
That's what I'm thinking. Because it's so soon, not because we don't have a quorum.
So September 12th instead.
Is everyone gonna be able to make September 12th?
I hope so.
I'm unsure about September 12th, but I can double check an email.
Okay, thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, I'll use it.
Okay.
Pretty sure that.
They were canceled in August.
mhm. Okay, so. Oh, now we're open issue discussion. Mostly that was like if you want to bring up something new, which the pollinator garden kind of is moving from open issue to old business. Is there anything else that people are seeing that we might be interested in? I'm going to bring this up, and that is that apparently last week there was a hearing on proposed local law number 12 of 2022 in the county legislature. Did anyone hear anything about that? Local law providing for the protection and restoration of the Hudson River, also known as Mahampatuck, and for the rights of the residents of Ulster County and the river to clean water and a healthy and productive ecosystem.
That's the same law that we just passed.
You just passed it? Oh,
They took our,
pardon?
they took our law,
Oh, they did? Cool. When did the city pass it?
like a month ago.
Oh, cool.
They discussed it at, oh no, they were supposed to discuss it at Energy, Environment, and Sustainability, the Ulster County meeting that I went to, but they didn't get to it. And they just mentioned it at the EMC, but I don't know too much.
Well, they had a hearing last week, so now I don't know, but I couldn't find anything.
Actually, speaking of water, I gather that Kingston is now getting its water from a non-Cooper Lake source, and that it's basically going through a big plastic tube going down Xena High-Woods Road, and the quality of it has notably declined. Does anybody know anything about this?
None of that is true.
None of that is true.
No,
Okay.
we're changing our water system.
But there was that whole problem with Cooper Lake last year, and they put a makeshift thing. I mean, I do know that there was they ran pipes
Yeah, but that was,
across the road,
That was
Yeah.
temporary if they even did it at all.
Okay, so it's back to Cooper Lake now, is it?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
I will tell my friend who's refusing to drink the water.
It's the same, but they might have issues with their own transmission system in their own house.
Right, no, this was, they live on Xena Road.
Oh, yeah,
Didn't like
definitely.
the look of the complaint that was from there.
Okay, so that's good to know that we passed this law in the city of Kingston and,
Well, that was a memorializing resolution.
Yes.
wasn't it, For the city, that's what I thought.
Yes, not a local law.
I'm sorry,
This was a local law.
this is a local law,
Yeah,
but it's from
that's
2020.
different. Yeah, that, does it have any teeth?
I imagine
I haven't
some,
gotten to the
Better look it up.
some do. Is it trying to set some sort of legal basis for? Lawsuits?
Maybe,
Are you asking about ours or theirs?
Theirs.
and I think that the thing that's driving it is Indian Point.
Mm-mm.
No?
This is about shallow habitat restoration in the upper part of the Hudson.
Okay, this is different.
Yeah, the Kingston one was not about Indian Point.
Shallow
It
habitat
wasn't.
findings. I'm wondering if this has to do with, I'm sorry, I haven't gotten to the where articles, like, what are they actually saying?
All right, so ours,
Is it on?
It's in the board package, you know, on the council. All the zoning stuff and everything else.
Okay. I'm
ours
just-
is a resolution calling for the Bill of Rights for the water for the Hudson River, also known as Mahi Canyon Tuck and its watershed and its ecosystem. Whereas the Common Council is concerned about the impact of continuous assault and ruin from human development and industrialization on the Hudson. We possess the right to clean and healthy environment. Whereas any continued harm from driver dumping would constitute an immediate emergency. Blah, blah, blah. Now, before it be it resolved that these council hereby exercise their inherent, fundamental, and inalienable power of local self-government by adopting this resolution to recognize, secure, and create a Bill of Rights, providing for the rights of the Hudson River watershed and its ecosystem, asserting that the river, as well as its features, soil, and everything else, possess rights to exist, flourish, evolve, and regenerate, restore, recover, and preserve, are not limited to the rights of the watershed, blah, blah, blah. No person shall violate the rights.
Is that on one?
Probably.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say
Common
that,
Council, the last meeting, the board package, which is big document, has all the zoning stuff in it.
So this, just to give folks the background, it never came to the CAC, it went to my office. It was brought to me by the local council of Native Americans and Paul Tobin particularly, and a person named Chief Mann. Vince Mann, like months ago. It actually came to the Arts and Cultural Affairs office. She came to me with it, with a choppier version. Helped clean it up, then brought it to the council. They dismissed it. They said, we don't know what this is committing us to do. They said they were gonna change it. They didn't change it. They ended up adopting the language that we had pulled together anyway. Actually, one of the representatives from the Mid-Hudson Energy Transition did some pro bono work on it. The lawyer did some pro bono work on it. And now there's like communities all over the state using it as a model.
That's great.
that's so cool. So did you send it to us?
No, no.
Okay, and also when I was at public safety, I'm pretty sure that Andrea was gonna do something, I think, about the Indian Point, and she did, it was like an immediate thing, so she didn't bring it up.
The intent was to actually have this presented at Earth Fair as like a, this is our proclamation of the day, but it didn't go through council as swiftly as we thought it would.
Oh, cool. Okay, so this, it looks like what they're talking about is that basically they want the Hudson River cleaned up of PCBs and not just the upper Hudson. And that they just want to declare county policy that the county will support, advocate, and where applicable, affect the ecological restoration of the river, including in historic habitat for fish and other aquatic species and its water quality. And they will support, promote, and demand the restoration of solid aquatic habitat to the river, especially including the habitat and restoration activities identified and recommended in the DEC Hudson Habitat Restoration Plan.
Oh, so it's not the same, it's.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah.
And they're basically saying that they want to make sure that they want the Superfund Natural Resources damage to provide enough funding to restore the river. And they don't think that, and they think that basically that they don't, that there's enough money in the State Environmental Protection Fund to pay for most of this anyway. So it's pretty interesting, and I don't know what happened, but I guess we should follow it. And, you know, I feel like I don't get the Freeman regularly, and I don't know if they're covering it, so I don't know.
I haven't seen anything in the Freeman, but I get.
Yeah, it was-
I don't read it religiously, but I get, you know.
It was, and I Googled it enough, and it didn't come up with the Freeman article, but
Right.
this was sent out by KingstonCitizens.org, and I can't remember if I forwarded it to you or not.
My understanding is that, and maybe I'm probably woefully out of date, is that the issue, and I mean, admittedly, General Electric would say this, that because most of it is sunk to the bottom of the river, it's less contaminating to just leave it be rather
Right.
than dredging it up, which is going to put lots of
I think
crap
what
into
they're,
the water. But I think that's a kind of 1990s argument for basically not doing, not taking responsibility for polluting the river. I'm sure there are ways of capture, or, you know, it
Yeah.
would take a couple of years
So-
for it to clean out. But, you know,
this, yeah, but I think this is more about the restoration of the habitat, and that means like just funding more restoration that is based on the claim, on the natural resources defense claim that General Electric is going to have to pay eventually.
right.
They haven't paid it, and it's been, I mean,
30
people have
years.
spent their careers working on
Yeah,
this, so. Anyway, so it's interesting, and I'm not sure I have time to, it sounds like there's Manager Green, and let me see who put this forward, but it's interesting, this is local law 12 of 2022, and it's, and they just had a hearing. Anyway, so it would affect us. And then I just want to announce that there was a survey about your use of the lower esophagus. I sent it out to you, that the deadline was July 17th, so we didn't, so if you didn't do it, you didn't get to, but I did it. Ted, you did it, yeah. It was mostly like how you use it, what sites do you like, what's the issue with it. So this is the lower esophagus from the end of the Ashoka all the way to Sardis.
Yeah.
So that was good. That was good. And then my other announcement is that the county is working on a natural resources inventory for the county. And there's going to be a meeting in person on Thursday at 7 at the Restorative Justice Center, and a virtual workshop at 11:30 the same day. And I think I forwarded you that. So I think the natural resources inventory will be more important for people that don't have their, for towns that don't have their own. But That's coming up. And then, Ted, is there a meeting of the EMC
Wednesday
in,
night.
is that, okay, but isn't there one in August? It's gonna be not a meeting, it's like a something with all the CACs coming together and
Yeah, round
they
table.
did it last summer.
There's a round table.
Yeah. So that's another announcement, because that was really, I got a lot out of that one.
Where is that gonna be?
And then,
The Rosendale Community Center.
yeah,
Yeah, it's on 8:30,
What day?
August 30th.
August 30th.
Oh, excuse me, I thought you meant that was the time, sorry.
But we-
Oh, yeah, sorry. And that is a Wednesday.
And it's really cool, you get to see all the other people from all the other cities.
Cool.
Yeah. Rosendale Rec Center, it's by, do you know where that is? It's, it's across from,
The bike shop,
it's across from where you can catch the bus
right.
to New York City.
So we did the pace.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And that's August 30th,
Yeah.
and the EMC is meeting there?
They
No, it's-
are not having their
Mhm.
August meeting, I can look at that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, this is one of those get-together
What
things
time
that
is
they
I don't have the time.
I can't even remember who sent it.
Europa,
Europa.
who's serving as.
Annual
acting
Municipal
director.
Environmental and Climate Committees Roundtable.
Let me go back.
Nick left, so Europa serving as the.
So I just want to, can we take a minute to, it seems like things are kind of moving around, like Nick left, Europa's she's acting director now. She was deputy director.
Yes.
So
She still is deputy director, but in lieu of there being a director, she serves
as a,
as.
okay. And, right, and where did Nick go?
Nick went to work for Nightbot.
Night, near Howard. Yeah, so I encourage you all to go to that thing in Rosendale. So she just did a save the date, right?
I think so.
Yes, it's just to see the date.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll probably go if anyone wants to carpool.
Oh, it says more information regarding location and registration, as well as surveys for committee chairs to complete. Okay. Yeah. Yes, and I was energetic enough to ride my bike there, go swimming, and have Julie bring me home. So,
Sweet.
yeah, so if anyone wants to join me.
I'll be happy to do it again.
I'm always up for a swim. I've never swum in that pool, is it nice?
I would also be up for some.
It's nice, yeah.
No shade there. You have to pick the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a like go swimming and get out.
So I like to do a mile.
But oh, yeah. Then that's, no, I mean, I see what you mean. So you're getting a lot of raise.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so then. So those, I think were my announcements.
Did we skip over the CFA grants?
Oh, yes, because I'm sorry, because that's why we're here. We need to do these right away. Okay,
So there are printed copies in the middle of the table with two different drafts, two different options. This is a proposal that I'm asking if the CAC is interested. The city is applying for multiple CFA grants. CFA is consolidated funding application. This is the state's way of consolidating all or most grant applications to one day due date and one process. These are two that could be relevant to the Conservation Advisory Council. They've also gone before the Climate Smart Kingston Commission. The grants are due on Friday, and so if the CAC is interested, the vote would need to be tonight. We'll go through one at a time. One is starting with the one that, after your letterhead and date starts with Robert Rodriguez. CAC already submitted a letter of support, I believe, last year.
Yeah.
This is a resubmission of the exact same grant.
I already.
Other copies, individual copies?
There are a few.
I read it.
So we can look over. So this is a resubmission. We were not successful last year. We made some tweaks. We also had a debrief with the funder to understand how we could build our application stronger, and we feel as though we will hope for the best again. But basically, the crux of this first application is that there are two buildings on North Street that were homes, now are condemned. No one is occupying them anymore. They're now the property of the city. They were condemned due to damage from water, repetitive damage. One of them is right at the stop sign, like literally down in the water. The other is up by the road, but gets too much damage. So this grant would do two things. It would demolish those two buildings, and it would make that space into a public access space with a small parking lot of 6 cars-ish, and then a boardwalk out to the wetland for access for fishing or wildlife observation or kayaking. This is a grant through Department of State Local Waterfront Revitalization Program, that's LWRP, and it is within the environmental justice area of the city. If the CAC is interested, a letter similar to this could be submitted, the same letter as last year if we submitted one, could be submitted again, and I would be happy to fill it out if one of you didn't have the time.
We'd be doing this as a committee, so.
You need to vote on yes or no to submit the letter,
Yeah,
and then if it were yes, it would be yes with the caveat of who would be writing it and by when.
right.
And we could do this as a slate, or we could do it individually.
What do you think would have more impact?
The voting, it would be irrelevant.
No, so
No,
she's saying that's late, like we're gonna look at all the letters and vote.
You could vote together for the two or separately.
Oh, I see, I'm sorry, I thought, no, we could send the letters separately or not, sorry, excuse me.
So I don't know if you want to do them individually or.
Where's the second, I didn't see the second one.
So can we just go over the second one, or?
Yeah.
So the second one is, the Department of Environmental Conservation funded Smart Communities Grant. This is to fund future phases of the Kingston Organics. It is written as such that it would be implementing phase 2 and 3, which is not actually the case anymore. It's just the next phase, which is just phase 2. It's all going together to one phase.
All right.
Basically, it would be to expand organics from what it is now at the drop-off sites to full curbside collection for all residents and commercial businesses as they would want. I'm writing the grant as we speak. Currently, the grant whole total project totals up to like almost 2 million. It includes additional trucks, people, totes, countertop pails, lots of outreach, bag liners, lots of different things. A wash station for the DPW site so we can wash out our trucks properly. And this would be starting as soon as we could get a truck. Which
You get a packer truck or you get a box truck?
which currently the wait time on a packer is 18 months.
Wow.
So we'll have to see. We're not sure whether we want to get like a standard packer like we have now or a more specialized thing. Like if you've ever seen a community compost company truck that drives around, they have like a special little packer that has this special scoop on the back where like the 3 totes go in it at a time, the whole thing like lifts up like that. So we're not sure if we're gonna get a smaller packer or a bigger one or whatever, but either way.
Okay, so I'm flying out to Europe on Wednesday. I'm leaving my house at 12 o'clock. So if I'm gonna sign these, we have to do it. So and that's because, am I gonna sign them or is someone else gonna add the reasons and sign them for us?
I guess in theory, you really kind of need to sign it.
Okay, so who's got some content for this middle paragraph? The reason for supporting this project.
I could make something. Sure, I did a bit of editing letters, so.
But can you put it to me by,
Of course, I'll do it tomorrow,
okay,
okay?
yep.
Okay, so Helen's gonna write them. And.
All right, so then we're gonna vote, well, now we have to just vote. So we have the logistics of who's gonna do it and how we're gonna do it. So now we just have to vote. So the motion would be that we agree to write these letters. I don't know if I can
Write and
make the
send.
motion. Write and send the letters to Hazel and to the DEC and the Department of State.
I'll still move.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Brianna? Brianna? Okay. I can tell you were talking because there's a big box around you. I didn't write your name. Okay.
With that resolution, do we do both of them, or are we?
Yeah, that was.
That's fair.
And could somebody send me a,
I'm gonna do that right now.
oh, thank you.
And we want to just call this next phase on organics rather than phase two?
Yeah, are we supposed to rewrite it?
Or just phase two?
I would change it to phase two.
Yeah. Cool. Phase two, okay.
Okay. I have two. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get them tomorrow, so.
I have got it, yeah.
That's okay, she'll send it to me, okay. Okay, sorry for skipping over the letter.
And the letter that I edited after the last meeting, did that get sent out?
It was so long ago. No idea. But I should give someone a copy to have in our archives, right?
Probably me.
Yes. We tried to copy on that. Okay. All right, any other communications and announcements and events?
I got an email today that the Hudson River Watershed Alliance is having their conference October 11th. A webinar session, and then October 24th in person. I can forward that if anyone's interested.
I'm sorry, what were the dates? October.
The webinar is October 11th, which is a Thursday, and then to October 24th.
Oh, so it's not back to back. Okay.
It's like their annual meeting. Isn't it?
Their annual conference.
Yeah.
And their focus, the theme is diversity, equity, inclusion, and justice, environmental justice.
Yes.
Any other announcements? Anything? I'm just going to announce the Cary Institute Ecosystem Studies always has these talks on Friday nights. And you used to have to drive to Millbrook, and now they're all on Zoom and all recorded, and they're so interesting. So it's like reading the forest, or a woman who wrote a book on beavers and stuff like that. So you should really, if you're interested, sign up for that.
And this is,
The Cary Institute Ecosystem Studies, they're in Millbrook. They're a private research institute. They also have professional talks, but the Friday night ones And they're not even always on Friday now because they do them as Zooms also. I mean, it's fun to go to the building, but it's a long way. Yeah. Okay, so anything on complete streets?
I have attended a couple by Zoom, I missed one. I must admit. Mostly been talking about road safety, that'd be a fair. Right. Nothing particularly to interest us at the moment.
And is that just mostly with car accidents and stuff?
Yeah, bike paths in particular.
Planning board, Kevin?
Yeah, okay. The last meeting, which was the 17th? The last item on the agenda was Rhinebeck Gardens, the site plan review. I'm still looking at it, haven't gotten there. I can forward that around. It's on the planning board.
They want to add a bunch of accommodation, don't they? I just saw a thing in the Freeman today saying they want to add a load of accommodation.
Yeah, well, this will have all the site plans and all of that.
Oh, so they want to build more? No, I thought they were
Yeah.
renovating, but they're actually.
Well, I think they're adding,
Oh, cool.
yeah, they're building up.
It's like 80.
Maybe demolishing certain units
Oh,
and then adding new units. Yeah.
Rhinebeck Gardens is, you know where that is? It's right where the police department is. It's
Yeah.
over the other side of Rhinebeck.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
The other thing that's on there, we had this at the HLPC, the Landmarks Commission, was the move of the library to 61 Crown, the former school board building, for approximately a year. That's what they're saying. But, we'll see how long they actually end up staying there.
And is that because of the construction of the library that is
Yeah.
on the planning board? Or the actual move?
Well, there's work going to be done at 55 Franklin, so they're
Yeah.
moving to 61 Crown.
Right.
They're moving the, right. You're on the library, aren't you?
Not anymore, but
Not anymore.
what's the point of the being on the planning board? It's for is it for the library on Franklin or for something?
No, this was for 61 Crown.
For the use of.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, because of like parking and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, we had it at HLPC because,
Oh,
the
HLPC.
design issues, but it's on the planning board as well. And it's, it's a full site review,
No.
parking and all that.
Wow. Okay.
So that's moving there.
Anything else?
I think that kind of covers it. They had Alganian on there again, and we had him at the HLPC, that's a complicated thing to review because it's like 5 site plans, but they're really small. Like they didn't merge lots.
Which one is it?
Alganian on a Beale Street. And that was as a post street behind it. Yeah, but there's the old synagogue that was.
Yeah.
Right, but there's more to it than that. It's a whole housing development plan that goes with this.
And does this
And they
include
told
the
me
Irish
to look at
cultures?
our houses.
Yeah, well, the first go around at Landmarks, it went badly. They were like, yikes, this is scary looking. Yeah,
Does this include the Irish cultural center?
No, this isn't the Irish Cultural Center. No.
Across the street.
Is it that the yellowish one that's got that big wall? Across the street from you? Oh, it's on the other street.
No, it's on,
Right, it's on a bit.
it's on a Beale.
Across from the Irish Cultural Center.
Across from it, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, Yeah, we didn't have any issue, and from what I got, we thought we thought this was gonna be a nightmare, and it turned out, after they had comments, they came back. We didn't have a problem with landmarks, but they may, I don't think planning had a problem either, that's what I gathered from Suzanne, that they, that all of their issues, like stormwater, whatever, they were being dealt with, and I believe there is on-site parking. That was a discussion, I think,
Does it have a name?
may have 5 names for 5 different lots.
How do you spell his name?
E-L, lost my notes. ELGHANYAN. And I think the discussion when we were having, we're not sure if he was Armenian, which he thought he was, or if he was, or if there's a well-known real estate family in New York that's Albanian,
Right,
that are Iranian Jews.
wow.
One of them was actually, one of the members of that family was killed by the Ayatollahs in 1979 during the hostage crisis, or shortly thereafter. So, and that, I don't know if it's that same Albanian, but it struck a few of us at like Albanian real estate,
Yeah,
could be.
because the Armenians are usually IAN.
Yeah,
So.
so. Be that as it may, they're doing, the projects seem to be more or less okay. I mean, I think you can always nitpick these things to death, but I don't think the planning board's doing it, and the landmarks commission didn't either. Once they accepted the comments, we came back. I think that's it for now.
Public safety liaison. Oh, okay. I already reported on this, that I attended the last meeting and gave a report on the air quality. I just wanted to ask, I can't figure out who is actually alderman anymore and who's on the public safety, because it seems like now Bob is an alderman,
Yes,
Dennison,
you took over Tony.
Tony, okay.
Sarah took over from Barbara Hill. And Michael Oliveri has resigned to take a different position, but his position has not been filled. There's vacancies and applications are being accepted.
When,
Yeah,
when a new alderman comes, do they automatically take the committee assignments or?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm going on the website now to see if maybe that's, if they've updated it. I don't know that that is the case. I would guess that that would be the case. If I were doing it, that's how I would do it.
but it could depend on kind of their, I mean, that was, like, would they be like the chair if they were the chair? For instance,
And so,
I can never find the common council.
so it's not totally up to date. Right now it is saying that which one are you looking at? Public safety you're worried about, asking about? Or all of them?
I couldn't figure out anything. So,
Right now, public
Okay.
safety, it's listed as Dennison, Hill, which is not the case, Oliveri, which is not the case, Muhammad and Hirsch.
right, and no one's listed as a chair.
So it was 20, right?
Yeah. But no one's listed and no one's listed in the, so right now of the public safety, it's Bob Dennison, Sarah, and no one, and Name,
Anyone?
okay. Right.
Michelle?
Michelle,
Yeah.
right. Okay, because I attended one,
I guess if the crux of why you're asking is to know who to communicate with, I would communicate through the clerk's office.
that's what I did. Yeah. Yeah, it was just really surprising to, like, see who was there. Okay. Yeah, and by the way, if you haven't signed your oath of absent of office, I had to go, it's only been 7 months since I was supposed to go. And Sarah, her name was right in front of me, so that's why. But has everyone, I don't know when you were appointed, so.
I think I'm good. I think I saw
Yeah, if you didn't hear from.
Wasn't power on it,
Okay, so.
I can't reach, we need to speed it up.
I'm
pretty much ready.
Climate smart,
Yeah, okay, okay, climate smart, we covered the organics plan, which we covered here. Okay, we covered the letters of support, which we covered here. There was one little glitch over there. A bunch of us were considering supporting a neighborhood skate park, and a bunch of us on that board said, no, it's outside of the scope of the climate action plan. So we had a 44 vote with 1 abstention, so it went nowhere.
you didn't even ask us.
I didn't even ask that.
No, I don't.
Came up.
Yeah, and either me or Karen Sullivan brought it up. I'm not sure one of us said, well, what about this? And it was in, you know where I found it? It was on the table. There was a third letter on the table at that meeting. You should have given us the third letter when we brought it up. Well, it looked like it might fit, but, people said no, they said no. Okay. Let's see what else we covered there. I think we went through some of the resiliency initiatives that Senator Schumer announced on June 22nd. We didn't cover that in great depth here. I don't know if we need to. There's a link if anybody wants to see it. The Daily Freeman has it too.
Okay.
If you go back to June 22nd, New York Consul on it. And we covered the zoning. A lot of it was covered here. We're still talking about refrigerants. I think one of our commissioners there is researching a new replacement for R22 Freon. And we're waiting for a report on what that's going to be.
Cool.
So I think that pretty much covers climate smart.
Ted? DMC, sorry.
Yeah, the EMC did not meet in June, but we're meeting on.
Was that because of weather or something?
I'm not really sure because I wasn't going to be able to attend
Yeah.
anyway. And I missed that they weren't meeting except for a last minute email saying they weren't. Maybe because Nick left and he's a big part of that meeting, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I was gonna go and I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going, so, but I can't remember why. Okay, and so we already made the announcement of, but they are meeting this week,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna, and then the roundtable is the following. Okay, tree commission and including your issue.
I don't have my notes with me, but we dealt with a number of tree removals and prunings in the last couple of meetings. I will get back to Helen. Specific interest.
Because I think what's particularly interesting about this example is it was at the corner, it's 222 Fair Street, which is opposite the church, the two churches, where the sidewalk was an absolute disaster. I mean, it was really dangerous. And so first I was like, oh, finally they're sorting it out. And then I realized they've removed at least 2, I think maybe 3 mature trees in order to even out the sidewalk. And I'm assuming that wasn't allowed, or maybe they've committed to planting something or whatever, but it just seemed unnecessary. And I know that, I mean, this is going to be a huge, because at some point, we're gonna have to address the uneven sidewalks,
Right.
especially in Uptown. And, because they're particularly bad in Uptown, is what it means, but I really want to see somebody on it with making sure that trees are not unnecessarily taken down in order to make the sidewalks level, because that's just gonna be a disaster.
I think it was more than what was going on with the sidewalk.
Okay,
There
right,
was some root intrusions behind.
right.
Isn't there a wall there?
No,
No.
no, it's just a yard with an office block.
22?
222, it's on the corner of Pearl,
Right. I know.
it's like a lawyer's office. I'm not an expert, but it looked like somebody went, oh, screw it, let's just take these down, but I could be wrong,
But
but
that has happened.
yeah. Well, the guys who brought the drug den on the corner of Fair and Henry just took out all, I mean, it was very, very enclosed with trees, but they just took out all the trees but one.
The
And then
pink house.
Yeah, the pink house.
I used to live next.
Did you? Anyway, I just think it just seems like an ongoing potential issue, and I think that it's within our remit to be on top of that.
Mhm.
Because, you know, we're not exactly rife with trees. We need more, not fewer. So I'd be very curious to know what happened at 222 there.
Yeah. Well, years ago, they got federal funding to improve the sidewalks and they took out huge trees on Broadway. So,
Well, this is.
it's not the first time.
And I mean, when you hear the, sort of, you know, like the whole thing about the Franklin Street project, you know, it's clear that trees were not really a priority, so, and they need to be, and barring the case. Anyway, thank you. But yeah, so let me know what you find out, because I'd really like to get involved in both. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I also wanted to say that I attended this, it's a carbon dioxide removal, which is different than sequestration that Sustainable Hudson Valley put on today. And I think they're recording, they did record it, but it was really kind of you know, a class, a 101 class, and kind of how direct carbon dioxide removals that we like biochar, but also like grinding up rocks for enhancing weathering,
Wow,
some of the things.
trees are good too.
Yeah, and trees are good too. So, anyway. Okay, anything else, or should we adjourn at 8:02?
I move to adjourn.
Okay. Hey, Brianna, do you want to second that?
I second that.
Oh, all right, great. And I just want to say, Brianna, I arranged to have a canoe trip in Tivoli Bay. And Brianna, we should do that next year for everyone here. So
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Brianna was my canoeing partner.
Very cool.
Oh, wow.
We can give you Silkus Creek.
Yeah, oh no, they only go in the wetlands on the